Hey everyone, I'm Nidoking. This is still Sinner Sacrifice for Redemption. It's pretty much the same game, but I want to try out this trial of speed. I don't think I've got nearly the skills to complete the game without dying. I might attempt it at some point, but I expect it's going to go about like the Nightmare Challenge does. Failure after failure. And nothing to show for a partial completion. Meanwhile, this one seems like it's going to be a different type of challenge, but at the very least, something that I can keep throwing myself at until I beat it. I'm keeping this prologue in just so you can see the difference in running speed in a non-combat situation. It's about the only advantage we've got. I cannot roll through attacks anymore, which you can probably expect is going to be a big problem. But yeah, I run a lot faster. As you can see, I can make it almost all the way through this tutorial on just one stamina meter. So, I certainly want to bring the greatsword with me. It's the weapon that I know the best, and the weapon that I think is going to be the easiest to fight with. And let's go against the easiest boss, just to get used to how this new condition works, and really see it in action. We'll go in for a couple of early hits, because that's about the only thing that my improved speed is going to be good for. Closing distances, not really all that great for dodging things, surprisingly. I think I managed to stun it, or maybe I just hit the egg as it was producing the egg. I kind of petered out halfway through that sentence, I think, which is kind of going to be a tone of this whole playthrough, I feel. Normally, if an attack is aimed at you, you can just, last minute roll and nothing can hurt you. Now, I'm not going to have that advantage, although I can still roll out of the way of stuff. I just have to already be out of the way before the attack gets there. I think the first egg has finally hatched, but I'm nearly done with this fight. I'm guessing that increased aggression is probably the best strategy here, since my defense is going to be severely lacking most of the way. So I can start running in from a little bit farther away, go for those attacks that keep up the momentum. And yeah, this boss, at least, is no additional challenge without the invulnerability frames from a roll. But I still haven't unlocked the other weapon. We'll get there. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and try the actual bosses. The ones that always were a challenge, and now they're going to be a challenge of a very different type, because I have to change the way I think of defense. I think they're all going to be pretty bad, but in Chanel's case, if I miss the opening parries, then rolling is the only way I have of getting out of the way of her attacks. And of course, her arrows are pretty deadly in this mode, because I can't roll out of the way of those. Or at least I'll have to start rolling a lot earlier. I attempted to punish her volley of arrows attack. Big mistake. Although really that was just because the lock-on got really confused and I couldn't see what I was doing. At least parrying hasn't changed in the least. But yeah, once you get hit by your combo, without the opportunity to roll out of the way of the follow-up attacks, you're just taking the whole thing in the face. Not entirely pleasant. And I missed a parry right off the bat. That's probably not a good sign for things to come. I also haven't really checked to see whether the stun effect from the Pick of Chastity is any more pronounced against her than it is against any other boss. But I think the parries are just essential in this mode. And I'm probably just going to try running rather than rolling out of the way of most of the attacks. I think it's equally likely to get me out of the way without taking a hit in this case. And again, there's no way to perfectly time a roll to just go through that charging attack this time. Need to let my stamina recharge, because I'm going to use all of it up getting out of these arrows. And see if I can get her to switch back to her swords. That might be a little early to be putting the flame buff on, but I want to make sure that if I do weaken her enough to change forms, I'll be able to finish the job before she gets it done. And ran out of stamina. So now I gotta fight the worm without the benefit of being able to roll. My flame buff ran out just in time there. I think I would have taken a lot more damage had I not been able to heal when I did. But being able to knock him out of a fair number of his attacks at this point is gonna really help. And the fact that I can run a bit faster means that I can get behind it more easily. And the strong charge attack does put me within range for follow-up combos, so that's pretty nice. You know, as much as my stamina will allow, anyway. And even the regular weak attack has a bit of forward momentum, so I can start my attack from a bit farther away than you might expect. So considerably more difficult than it was the first time around, but not awful. There are some bosses that are absolutely not going to be fun at all, and some that won't really change with the removal of the dodge roll invulnerability. I'm hoping I'll be able to do a little better against Levenundok, because I don't really use the dodge roll all that much in this fight, I don't think. Well, I probably should. Again, the biggest part of the whole thing is just getting in there, doing as much damage as possible, and trying to focus on those stuns. I suppose there are other things I really should be focusing on first. But every stun is an attack that doesn't go off. I think I almost stunned her out of the head-changing animation. Or I might have done it earlier, because I managed to get Indok down to about half health before she managed to switch heads. And this one is certainly going to attack a fair bit before she manages to summon the other body. And the more I can wear her down before that happens, the better. I thought I could stun her out of that area animation. I didn't quite get there. It's kind of a problem when she's got the bolts of lightning and I can't dodge out of it. But now when she does her area attack, I can sort of pop in there right at the end and get some damage done. Now I'll do as much damage as I can while she's summoning the other body. They're both really weak at this point. I'm not sure it matters which one I attack. But I think taking out Indok first is the best option, just because it's likely that I'll be able to stop the chandelier animation from Undok. For Indok, it doesn't take that long, so I'm not sure that I could stun her out of it. I think I stunned her out of the axes, too. That's a surprise. Normally those axes just keep spinning no matter what. And Dance of Death begins. I thought she was dead. Apparently she's not, and that was really, really embarrassing. That was so close, too. It's just gonna keep happening like that, isn't it? And here I'm almost done. As you can see, the chandeliers are still falling. I didn't manage to stop that animation. But we're as good as done here. And here the game has frozen. That's cheap, game. I'm counting that. Every other death from this point is a non-binding death. Granted, the game doesn't recognize my victory, even though it was right there, so I do still have to actually defeat them. And it's a more painful fight than I was expecting. I'm sure I could make better use of the items than I have been. But yeah, I've got to go through the whole fight every time. And I think I'm just getting sloppier and sloppier as I get more and more frustrated with this whole thing. Hey, go ahead and laugh. I deserve it. But my strategy is really just to stay close enough that most of her attacks are not going to affect me. And when I do get far away, close the distance with the dashing attack or the charge. I'm not going to be able to interrupt her this time. But I can perhaps goad her into striking with her lightning too far away to stop me getting in there and dealing some effective attacks. And start my run at just the right time to get in and hit her when it's done. I should have recognized that bolt was coming. I'd really like to weave my way between the strikes, but I'm not going to be able to do that. At least I got away this time. But yeah, started my combo way too late to interrupt the animation. I think you have to do it just as she's starting to pull her head up. And I stunned her out of the dance to summon the other body, but it still comes. Still, I think I'm in good shape here, aside from getting launched, rather horrifically, losing nearly all of my health immediately, and forgetting which side of the room the big gaping hole that I'm about to fall into is on. For some reason, if she's just launched a dagger, you can't knock it away from her with the javelin. Kinda weird, but okay, I get it. Once again, it's Dance of Death time. Once again, I'm on the wrong side of the room to dodge it properly. But I had just enough health to survive long enough to use my healing potions. Alright, now I think I'm on top of things. And she's in the middle of an attack, so I can get in there and hopefully stop the chandeliers. And now it's just a matter of defeating Undok by herself. No other help. And I've done this many times before. I've also screwed it up many times before, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Stunner in the fire. About the best way to use it, honestly. I think it goes really well with this weapon in particular. And one more fight to round the video off. Faistalas. Not going to make the mistake of fighting Yordo first again, especially when running is the only defense I've got. I want to make sure I've got enough stamina. Hey, that's what it looks like when you parry one of his eyes. And that's really all the interest there was to this fight. Not being able to roll through stuff has no impact whatsoever. So I'll see you for the rest of this playthrough next time.